So, Claude, thank you for joining us on this interview. So, just a brief introduction about Claude. So, he is the regional director for Middle East at Veeam. So, in this interview, we'll be speaking about the security threat landscape in the region, the company's new Veeam Backup and Replication version 11, and lots more. Thank you again, Claude, for joining us today.
And your pleasure, and thank you. Thank you for making time for me, as always.
Thank you. So we can start with this is a question that you might have faced from others as well. How has the security threat landscape changed recently, considering there's been a pandemic? So everyone who's been doing security policies, new solutions and stuff like that, obviously their strategies have changed as well because many of them are working from home now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we know the world's changed, right? It hasn't. It's never going to be the same. It hasn't been the same for the last year. Middle East is no different. We haven't been immune to security threats, and we've sort of created a place of work where it can thrive. Working from home, not in control of all the data, has led to ransomware thriving. Right, that's one thing that is really enjoying these times in terms of the pandemic. It's just strange how we have a pandemic and we have ransomware, and they're both thriving right in this time. But what's important to note is that when I speak to people and customers and say, make sure you have a backup and recovery strategy and make sure you have a security strategy. They're not the same thing. And people often get confused and say, listen, well, we've got a backup and recovery strategy, we're good. But what happens if that backup and recovery strategy is infected by something? You need to have a security strategy. And I always say to people, my favorite is, fast forward. So put yourself in the shoes of saying, we're going to get hit. Imagine that day when you're going to hit, and then work backwards from there in terms of how you're going to securely recover. And then, most importantly, how are you going to continue business? Because that's the most important thing. And if you can play that out, and obviously Veeam gives you a number of tools to play those scenarios out, to make sure that one day when you get hit, you have played this through and you've got a strategy in how you can recover. So that's really what my advice is on that.
Okay. In terms of the new announcement that's going to happen today, which is about the Veeam Backup and Replication version 11, what sort of new enhancements have you had into the application?
Yeah. So I say this all the time, right? I've been at Veeam for 5 years, and now we're on version 11. Then there was version 10 and 9 and 8. And I remember, you can record me. This is the biggest thing we've ever had, right? But this truly, in terms of what version 11 brings to customers, is unbelievable. And the big thing is obviously those customers who've purchased our technology, they're getting all these new enhancements for free, right? They're obviously paying them their yearly maintenance and subscription. And it's just, Veeam is just putting back so much into product and listening to customers about what it is that they require. And so, yeah, I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. Obviously, this suite that we're releasing, obviously version 11 of backup and recovery, that's Veeam sort of as what we're known for. That's the major release part. I'll go into some more detail around that shortly. Veeam 1, which is our backup and monitoring tool, version 11 as well. We're enhancing our Linux and our Windows agent. And for the first time, we're releasing a Mac agent. Now, why is that significant? It's significant not because it's a Mac agent. For me, it's significant because Veeam's never big enough to not listen to your customer. And we've had many requests saying, Veeam, you look after these things so well. I know Mac isn't as prevalent as you would like in terms of it, but please help us out there. And guess what? We've listened and we're launching an agent for Mac. Then we've got some enhancements on our service provider console. Important because backup and DR as a service over the last year has changed significantly. So we need to give those service providers the ability to do their job easier. So we've done that as well. And then a couple of enterprise plugins that we will launch as well. So from a Veeam perspective, we used to be a 2-in-1 solution. Then we were called a 3-in-1 solution. Now we truly a 4-in-1 solution. We're snapshot technology, backup, replication, and for the first time ever, continuous data protection, or CDP. Now, that's something that Veeam has been talking about for at least 3 years. At least 3 years, continuous data protection. Now, that's something that when you say that, for me, it sounds expensive, right? Because it's always, whenever you have enterprises doing continuous data protection, they used to have everything's duplicated, right? You have a piece of storage here, a piece of storage here, you're right there within milliseconds, right? Veeam with version 11 has incorporated this but we've taken the cost and affordability into account. And we've made it very, very, very easy and simple for you to take advantage of near zero RPO. Why is that significant? I mean, I'm going to go in. So on top of the 4-in-1 solution I talk of, there's in excess of 150 enhancements, but the top 5 that Veeam version 11 will bring to the market, the pillar is continuous data protection. Now that's significant, and I said it earlier, we've been waiting at least 3 years talking about it. And a favorite saying of mine is, like customers go, but why? And we as sales people go to our technical organization, say, where is it, and where? And I'll say, it's ready when it's ready. And that's the standard answer. We don't want to release anything that's not ready. And Veeam needs to ensure it's 100% perfect and it's suitable for the environment. So over the last 3 years, we've been talking about a lot. What's changed? CDP is really, when you think about it, it was sort of a luxury for big organizations. Now that we're incorporating it into the Veeam version 11, smaller businesses, and isn't it so true in the last year what's happened, data and CDP that smaller businesses can take advantage of is a good thing. So now we've absolutely made, and I think this, you'll hear a lot of talk around this. This is going to be the biggest game changer in this environment because of its affordability, because of so many more people can take advantage of it, and Veeam's really hinged that pillar. The other piece is we've incorporated ransomware protection, and Veeam version 10 did have ransomware protection, but you were able to create immutable backups which can't be changed on certain storage platforms, like an S3 platform. And you would have to have a certain type of storage where you would store your backup file. It would be locked for 15 or 30 days, making it immutable. So you would be able to recover that 100% because ransomware couldn't write anything. You can read the data, but you can't change the data. So what Veeam's done is we've incorporated in the native product your basic storage at your any storage. So we don't really mind as Veeam what hardware it is. We've built that into the product. No longer do you need a specific type of storage. Your storage will work and you can create on-site immutable backups. Also, big change. Another thing is data management and archiving to the cloud. So data policy. So we speak of hot data, warm data, cold data, moving off to the cloud. Why is that important? Because in the Middle East, we've had our big cloud providers come to the market, the AWSs, the Googles, the Azures. They have scale. You'll never compete with them on cost in terms of storage and what they bring to market. So we can save in terms of 20 times cost. Used to be able to archive to tape. Now you can archive to cloud at a saving. Also one of our favorites, so the next pillar. So there we've got continuous data protection, the ransomware, archive to cloud, Veeam Instant Recovery, something that made us famous, right? Made us absolutely famous because we can recover anything in less than 5 minutes. And when I used to present, I used to say less than 45 seconds, but that was the sales talk. But if you go into the nuts and bolts of it, it's a lot more complicated because do databases really recover in that amount of time? Version 11 brings Microsoft SQL and Oracle databases. We can instantly recover those. So now I can stand up in front of customers confidently and say, instant recovery, 45 seconds, 5 minutes, I'll get you up and running. As well as NAS instant recoverability is also on the cards now. So now NAS is now not a tier 3 type storage. It's now tier 1 in organizations. Those files need to be accessed a lot. So we're giving the ability to recover those quite quickly. And then I spoke of the last pillar. That's the Veeam Service Provider Console for backup as a service and DR as a service. For them to offer better services into the marketplace is the 5th big pillar that we're launching.
Yeah, you spoke about as a service offering. Have you seen any increased uptake of these kind of offerings, and what kind of value add does Veeam bring along in terms of this proposition?
Yes, so the last year we've seen a big increase in terms of as a service offerings. So we have many hosting partners, Veeam hosting partners who have a business who use our product to offer hosting services like backup as a service, like DR as a service. It's obviously increased because IT has become decentralized. It used to be centralized. Everyone's office is now decentralized. And because of cost and complexity about getting to every household and trying to get that data back home, these providers are able to, from their console, able to get in, take a copy of that data wherever it is. It doesn't matter how decentralized it is, whether it's a Mac, whether it's a Windows, whatever machine it is, and bring it home. And they're the experts, right? So customers are looking to those experts to say, help me in this avenue. I don't have the skill. I don't have the reach. I can't get to everybody's house and try to do this, and I don't have the skill. So that's really taken off in terms of backup and deals of service. And that fifth pillar I spoke of in terms of in version 11, our service providers have access to a lot more features enabled for them to do their job.
Okay. Just a few moments ago, you spoke about pandemic and ransomware as well. How has ransomware evolved during this, difficult time? Have you seen a lot of changes, challenges from your customers in the way they handle data?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, if ransomware hits and you're an enterprise, you don't talk of it, right? It's taboo.
Yeah.
It's you can't, right? I mean, you need to be very careful on how you tread, right? So obviously, if you've had a breach, and you have customer data breached, you need to be public about it and take ownership. The best thing is obviously taking ownership and doing something about it. So a lot of customers have seen an increase in activity because I spoke about the decentralized office environment. There's many more ins into the environment, and because of that, customers have become a lot more aware of what needs to be done. And obviously, I spoke about it earlier, making sure you play out the scenarios. We really help customers play out the scenarios. We put dummy scenarios together of what ifs, and then we show them using the orchestration products how we can help them recover. Biggest thing, right, is in any business is how quick can I continue my business? How quick can I make sure that the operations of the people and the product and go to market continues is paramount.
In terms of your engagements with your customers and channel partners as well, what would you like to do differently this year compared to last year? Because obviously the opportunities are different, the challenges are different this year as well. So how is that changing your regional strategies?
So we're really about this year's a big thing for me. The big topics for me for this year is security and cloud, right? How we're going to help you be secure this year? How we're going to help you take advantage of cloud using scale and saving you money, right? Because that's what we're looking to do, right? In times like this, you need to operate. People have scaled down. People have had to really, scale back. So how do we deploy those expenses that you used to have, right? So the biggest, we did a survey last year, cloud data management survey. We surveyed over 1,000 CIOs in the Middle East, and the biggest inhibitor for them to do digital transformation was skill and cost, right? Skill and cost, but they know they need to transform, and this pandemic has made them transform and accelerate it more quickly, right? They've had to. So we're about those expenses in terms of lights and water and physical building costs that you've had. Let's use that in a time like this to help you move across that chasm, get across in terms of now let's transform you. We've got the time, we've got the money, and let's help you with the skill so that you can take advantage of the next way of what business looks like. Because we all know business from today will never be the same as it was a year ago. So those are the things. So security, take advantage of cloud. Let's help you transform. Let's help you digital transform quickly so you can take advantage of the new business landscape.
Thank you, Claude, for speaking to us today. It was nice having you with us, and we hope to speak to you again in the future.
Really appreciate it. Would love to. And thanks again for reaching out.
Thank you.